सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ओम शांति शांति शांति। शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्य कृतौ वंदे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेद विभागिने व्योमवत् व्याप्त देहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं वसुदेव वसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। We are seeing the 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and we left off at Shloka number 11 we did, and we started Shloka number 12. So we will look at 11. So Shloka number 11 says, Kayena manasa buddhya kevalairindriyarapi yogina karma kurvanti sangam tyaktvatma shuddhaye. So we have been seeing in this chapter, Bhagavan Krishna talked to us about the higher nature of karma. The lower nature of karma is animalistic. Extreme, base, lowest nature of karma is the animalistic nature of being programmed. The animals are programmed to do certain things. They eat, they drink, they breed, and they seek protection. If it is fear, they run away from the source of fear. And if it is comfort, they seek that out. You may have seen the deer, it is so fickle, continuously it is looking around to see if there's any animal prowling around to catch it. It's its nature. The survival of the fittest, it demands that. And there are way too many animals up higher in this chain that look at a deer as food. So the deer's prakriti is programmed by nature to be alert so that it doesn't become food for someone else. It's very simple. Same thing, lions and tigers, they are the top of the food chain. They don't have anybody to worry about except human beings now. So for these animals, they don't have any other animal to fear. And they will take whatever the stomach demands, and that's it. So they are programmed. And when the time is right, in the spring or wherever it is, the breeding season of various animals, they do their karma, and the Vamsha Parampara of all species continue. Then comes a human being. And For the one who is not privileged, whatever they see around, their parents do, their neighbors do, they simply mimic that. They find a way to earn money and live a life. The thought pattern behind karma is, I have to seek livelihood, a lower form of human existence. We are not, pointing fingers and putting someone down. It's just for us to think, to help us understand this chapter 5. So there are people who don't have the privilege of material knowledge to utilize that for their own comforts and well-being and earning wealth. Then there are people who are who have the privilege of material education, and some college degrees are there, and the professions are also much more refined. They make a decent amount, and there is enough to go around with the family and help support others and the community, and they're happy with what they have acquired. Yet there is another set of beings who are privileged education, and they think, what other type of education exists? I've acquired a lot in material education. Is there some spiritual education? Can I make myself better? And this is not for a degree, but this is for a very deep inner satisfaction when this spiritual education alters the way in which we think, we live, and we work. And such people, they hear that offering work as worship allows me to grow. And there are people who do so much community service and are ready to put in the muscle power to help the community become better. So they have become better. Now the community is becoming better. But then there is yet another set of person. The community becomes better. I am becoming better, but I want to become even better. I want to, in fact, become noble. How do I become noble? So then there is a whole set of Dharma Shastra. They start to live a life of Dharma. Not because it is enforced, but they want to. Righteousness in living at all costs. Nobility of thought. And that nobility of thought now overflows into an action, because an action cannot be produced without a thought. And if the thought is noble, now the action is going to be noble. So now such people start engaging in noble deeds with the same actions that they have been doing. Not that they seek out special noble actions, the same action that they have been doing, conversing with a friend. Now the conversation becomes more meaningful. Let me listen. Let me not judge. Let me be here for them. All of a sudden, there is a change. Now the action has changed. And even though their own friend, earlier they had different relationship, now they look at a friend in a very different light. They are trouble. Oh Lord, may they be helped. May you show them some direction. A simple prayer, that's all. Further, now the remembrance of Lord is effortless. As remembrance of Lord in two ways. One, prayers for what they cannot do, and gratefulness for what they are able to do. Oh Lord, I thank you. I'm grateful for having all these things that you have bestowed upon us. That attitude of gratitude all the time, whenever this mind is engaged in action, the mind which is ever grateful of the higher, that is what is referred to over here as kayena, the action done by the physical body, manasa, actions done by mind, buddhya, by the intellect. There is always remembrance of the higher, either as prayers or as gratefulness. Kevalaihi indriyai rapi. And all that is done by senses. A simple act of going to HEB to pick up a gallon of milk becomes a trip to the temple. Because in thought, the person is never divorced from the higher thought of Bhagavan. So in thought, if Bhagavan is there, in HEB also they will find Bhagavan. They will look at the clerk at the cash register or the person in the aisle stocking up food, will give them a smile and think about the presence of the Lord everywhere. Yoginaha karma kurvanti. Such a yogi does actions with this attitude, either a prayer or effortless remembrance because of gratefulness. Such a person, sangam tyaktva, when there is an attitude of gratitude, and when somebody is in distress and all they have is just pure heart filled with prayer for them, obviously they are divorced from worries and attachments and all those things which are keeping the mind preoccupied and heavy for most of us at all the time. Our minds are consumed with worries, attachments, attachment to spouse and children and parents and work, and it goes on and on and on. Anything and everything, property, so many things we find ourselves attached to. And the greater the cobwebs of attachment, the greater the worries. The greater the worries, the greater the insecurities. The greater the insecurities, the greater the sadness in life. Even the things which they have, they are not able to enjoy. So, a karma yogi over here, what is referred to as a person who remembers Lord at all times as prayers or as gratitude. So the mind does not have its usual bank balance of worries, which it takes about everywhere. Spiritual giants, spiritual personalities are cultivated not because of some destiny, but because of the fortitude with which they usher the mind in the direction of richness of thought. It is the richness of thought that produces bhagya, which produces a good fate or destiny. And such people, even if they fall into some accident or something happens, something grave happens, which is for an average person, they will be shook. But a devotee of Lord who continuously remembers doesn't allow any of such events to dampen their mind. They will remain uplifted. If something terrible happens, they will just say, Hari Ichha. He willed it. I just have to deal with it. That's all. Such is a very, very high level devotee. And that is what Bhagavan is saying. Such type of thoughts are absent in the lower uh, evolved beings. Beings which are not evolved higher, there is no element of spirituality. I started out by talking about a deer or a tiger and a lion, which are programmed. They cannot cultivate the richness of a prayer or a worry-free mind. And some people, human beings, who do not have the privilege of this art of right action as cultivating proper thoughts, then those people tend to behave in a sinusoidal manner of their emotions and thoughts. They are continuously oscillating in the highs and the lows and the highs and the lows and the highs and the lows as per the vasana or the desire or the thought. Such is the temperament of their minds. But the ones who remain calm internally, they have surrendered the mind to a higher thought of living. And that is what Bhagavan Krishna is saying, that such people, the ones who do karma by depositing their mind and desire into the higher, they produce good actions, and to that extent the mind and the intellect also becomes very quiet. And a quiet mind and a quiet intellect is a perfect pasture for the seeds of wisdom to dawn. Wisdom requires a quiet mind, a pensive mind. A tumultuous mind cannot produce wisdom in living. So this is what Bhagavan has said in this shloka number 11. We continue. Yukta karma phalam tyaktva shantimapnoti naishtikim ayukta kama karena phale sakto nibadhyate. This type of a worker known as a yogi or a karma yogi, a one who actually does an action, but he or she invests the thoughts in proper direction. Such a person is called yuktaha, integrated. The mind and the intellect both have decided, hey, we are going to work together and we are going to choose to be happy. We are going to be choosing right thoughts. Let us not entertain vulgarity in living. Let us not entertain sickness in living. Let us entertain divinity every moment. That is called yukta, united. United. Mind and intellect united, and together they are united with divine thoughts of the higher. Yuktaha karma phalam tyaktva. Now they do actions, but they have surrendered in the desires to just being good, entertaining good thoughts. Typically, most people, when they do an action, they do an action to acquire something or to attain something or to become something. But over here, this person does not have anything to prove to anyone, not even their boss at work. Even though the raise is coming up, they realize that the same goodness, equanimity, righteousness, nobility is what they are delivering. And the universe recognizes. What happens to such a person? Shanti mapnoti. They attain peace. What kind of peace? Naishtikim shanti mapnoti. They attain eternal peace. Their minds will not get troubled by the world, and the world will also not persecute such a mind as much, because they are on this path of self-evolution. And if they don't get that raise, they are not much worried. No, it wasn't meant to be, that's all. I did my best. And if time and again, years go by and they are not recognized, maybe we'll go and ask the boss, is there something that I'm doing wrong? Because I feel like I was not recognized while others are. And I just wanted to know if there is room for improvement for me. That's about it. They want to make sure that they also do not become doormats of the universe. So, to make sure that they remain in their own internal equipoise, they will get an answer, go back to their silence, and such people find themselves living a long life, peaceful life. Others may dance around them, but nobody can make them dance. Internally, they are in the best place, and the best place is the thoughts have all turned from desire prompted thoughts to effortless remembrance of all that has been bestowed upon them. And they won't declare to the world, just be silent, let me pray, I'm praying. Nobody will even know that they are praying. Nobody will know that they are offering everything as pure gratitude. Nobody needs to know. Internally, they are clear about their own well-being. Such a person, Bhagavan says, such a person gives up even karma phala tyaktva. Most people do actions because of attainment or acquisition of something, but these people don't have anything acquired, anything left to be acquired. Why? Because they are dwelling in peace. Is it not true that we do everything just to have some peace of mind? I've seen sevaks who do seva truly with the attitude of offering to Bhagavan. Their children end up in good places. They go to college, they study well, they get settled, and they remain peaceful. It's as though Lord has just arranged everything for them. But they took the first step of invoking Bhagavan. So all knobs and buttons of life are adjusted by divinity. They need not adjust anything. And even if a child doesn't study, doesn't bother, no, education is not for them. I tried. I got educated, but the boy doesn't want to go to college. What can you do? He tried. First year he was there and said, Dad, I cannot. It's okay. There's nothing wrong in it. That doesn't mean he or she's not going to mount up to doing nothing in this world. They'll do. There's so many things you can do. I want to be a dad. I love cars. I want to be a car mechanic. I'm going to do a 6 months technical course on it, and I'll do that. So what? But we have to be at peace, and our peace is our choice. Most of us put our peace in somebody else's pockets, in our children's pockets, spouse's pockets. You know, there will always be friction. Our peace of mind has to come from us within. And that is called karma phala tyaktva. And that doesn't mean like today I hear this from Swamiji, oh, I'm going to start living like this. This is an evolution. It takes time, It takes time. It's good to hear this, ponder upon it, and then slowly make adjustments in our life. Slow adjustments. Initially, it may be in fits and starts, but once we are onto it, it is as though everything else will be taken care of. And then we can just take onto the flight of spiritual unfoldment. So, ayuktaha, second line, Bhagavan says, ayuktaha, the one who is not integrated. The mind is running in one direction, the intellect is in one direction, they have understanding, knowledge, but somehow cannot pass it on to the mind to follow up, and just a fragmented personality. And sometimes even the intelligence is there, incredibly smart people, but somehow cannot convert it into some action in living. That is also there. So Bhagavan says somewhere if this union is not proper, ayukta, Kamakarena, because some desire, some kamana, some fear, some anger is obstructing it. Something becomes a rudimentary cause which stands up in front of us and our own spiritual personality. And Bhagavan refers to that as kamakarena, some weakness, some desire. And some people, their weakness is their children. Some people, their weakness is their spouse. If one doesn't go, the other one will not go. No, she's not going, he's not going. If you're going, then I'm going. So something is creating an obstruction. Bhagavan calls that ayuktaha kamakarena. Some desire is pulling them back. Phale saktaha. They dream for a particular fruit to enjoy, a particular event to happen, a particular desire to be fulfilled. Swamiji, only if this daughter gets married. And just think about it, daughter got married. Okay, she's settled. And then something happens. Now it's another worry. So we are trying to settle everybody else and we ourselves remain unsettled. So these type of weaknesses, phale saktaha, such person, nibadhyate, they are bound. These are the shackles of chains that bind us. And it creates some more karmic debt. It creates some more karma vasanas, because of which we have to take another birth, finish our unfinished responsibilities, duties with others. So many things can be there. So, what Bhagavan is saying, ayukta kamakarena phale saktaha, such a person, because of some type of inner attachment, such people are bound. But the ones who exclusively choose Bhagavan, naishtikim shanti mapnoti. The daughter doesn't marry, they are like, oh, Bhagavan will find something. She must be having some type of destiny. She will be taken care of. Who says that all girls have to be married? Let her find her own stage of life. So there are no worries. Only blessings are there. Do well, be happy, and live a noble life. Such blessings parents give, and they look at their children from afar, and if no advice is asked, they don't even open their mouth. They make certain decisions, and it's their life. After 18, how much can we tell? So those people living a life of inner equanimity and peace learn to observe the whole world as a play and do not interfere with it. If asked, they will advise, but unasked, they will remain at a distance. Not required. So what is over here talked about is giving up the mental doership of actions. Most of us have a mental doership. I'm going to tell my wife, I'm going to tell my husband, I'm going to tell my child, I'm going to tell my boss. This is I becomes the root of a lot of ill. Very difficult to grow with that. So this is mental renunciation of doership with the knowledge that the universe is programmed. Why am I interfering? As a parent, while the child is in the impressionable age, let me put and lead the child to good impressions. Let me lead the child to something righteous and good, and all those things are there, but we cannot force upon a child after 18, 19, 20. It becomes difficult. Or even the spouse or the world, and we become a silent observer. That the world is dancing to its tune. We are most bothered by our kith and kin. The next door neighbor, he covers his whole body with a tattoo. We'll be like, let him do. But if your son walked in with a tattoo, you'll be upset. Because we have that attachment, you know. So this type of understanding is an evolved understanding in living, and spiritual beings now become the absolute roof and crown of creation. They are gods while living. This is what Bhagavan is talking about. So now karma section is over. Now knowledge which alters action starts, which is the central theme of this chapter. Shlokas 13 to 21 addresses the root of where an action is generated, and that is I, me, mine. The root is ahankar. With knowledge, how do I pluck out the ego? This is the central teaching of this chapter. Today I will end my pravachan over here, as I have just Navratri Puja coming up. I need to set up for that. So next week we'll be back onto full 1 hour schedule. I will end a new topic, Shlokas 13 to 21. The Jnana Yoga of chapter 5 starts, and we will see this next Sunday. Navratri greetings and blessings to everyone. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukha bhag bhavet. Om shanti shanti shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Namaste.